Hey, what's going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku, and I'm back after a horrible weekend. Let's just say I'm just glad they had that Samurai Jack marathon now, because it wasn't a pleasant week, or I shouldn't say a week. I should say Saturday in particular, because holy crap. It was just bad for me. Maybe not to you guys, but for me it was. And yeah. So because of that incident, I didn't make any videos since then. There's a couple of buy or sells I wanted to do, I'll eventually get to, as well as some requests that are in the comment section for previous buyer videos, buy or sell videos that I've done, because there's a lot in there that I do like and I want to do. But as I've said in my previous one, I do want to also do general ones that I've come up with to kind of really set the bar of like ideas, like for future idea requests, to kind of you guys again get the idea of where we're going with this whole series. So with that being said, let's get to this buy or sell, which is going to be probably a subject. It's going to be a subject one, depending on the one I guess you like more, but we're going to do it. So here we go. Buy or sell. Which one of these two anime series, between Zatch Bell and or Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, would have been the one you would have liked to have a conclusion to an English dub of the anime? As we all know, Season 3 of Zatch Bell was never dubbed, well, with the exception of 4 episodes, and then they just stopped it, and didn't finish the rest of the season. And then the last episode, the special episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX Season 3 was not dubbed, as well as the entire Season 4 Yu-Gi-Oh! GX was not dubbed. So that's basically our buy or sell, is between these two English dub series that did not finish their run. Which one would I have bought on to have gotten a Finnish English dub? So, with that being said, buy or sell, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX or Zatch Bell? And you know what? I was thinking about this for a long time in making this video, because I like both these two animes so much. I have the GX video game for the 2, as well as the couple of Game Boy Advance games, as well as the 2 PlayStation 2 video games that Zatch Bell was in, that they did for Zatch Bell, which by the way was English dubbed, back when video game companies gave a frig about dubbing animes in English other than Naruto and Dragon Ball Z, because they won't dub Attack on Titan like they should be, which one would I buy on? So I decided to buy Yu-Gi-Oh! GX and sell Zatch Bell. And the reason why I say that I would buy Yu-Gi-Oh! GX and sell Zatch Bell is because Yu-Gi-Oh! GX had such this feel to it, and there was so much interest in it for me. I was just so interested in it. I loved the concept of the card game school concept, academy concept that they were doing at the time. I loved the underdogness of Jaden. Jaden was not really anyone in the beginning. He was just kind of there. He felt like a common type person, and he was like this type of character that you could really believe in, that he could overcome the odds and stuff like that. unlike his predecessor, Yugimoto, who right from the beginning was always this unstoppable person. The first episode, when he beats Seto Kaiba with Exodia, eventually he loses Exodia, of course, but I mean, you guys remember, after Kaiba lost that duel, you remember, he didn't even want to face Yugi. He even said he can't be beaten. He has Exodia. I mean, that's how much scared Kaiba was of challenging Yugi after that. I mean, yeah, the rivalry became, more dominant once, Yugi lost the Exodia thing, the Exodia piece, but it was still, it was Yugi. Yugi was like the king of games before he became the king of games. But with Jaden, you could get behind him more, and that's why I liked him more as a character. Jaden had more of a connection as a character that was more of an underdog than Yugi was. Yugi just, was always this. He was just always the guy. And this was also the first anime that I watched that I was heavily into that did not get a dub finish or a dub conclusion. And when I found out about this, that the dub, that there was another season that never got dubbed, I was devastated. Because I wanted to see that finish. I wanted to see the finish of this show really badly, and for it not to get dubbed was just kind of it really sucked. It just really sucked, and for no reason. There was no real reason why GX should not have gotten dubbed. There was no reason. It got good ratings. It was doing very solid. They wanted to push forward for 5Ds, but my whole thing to say about that is why? Why not just do both of them at the same time? Because if you guys remember, GX's first season started while Yu-Gi-Oh! Was still going on, showing new episodes. Like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Was still showing new episodes because they were in their last season. They were in their last season on Kids WB, while Yu-Gi-Oh! GX was starting its first season on Cartoon Network. So I never understood why they couldn't just do both dubs at the same time. The fourth season would have been on Cartoon Network. They could have easily, it could have been on Toonami, because it was on Toonami for the third season. And, it was by the time Magoozies had disbanded. It went to Toonami for the third season. Could have easily, went on Toonami in '08. It could have dubbed it, and they could have had it up in '08, right before Toonami canceled, and maybe, who knows, Toonami may have lasted a little longer if GX had been there. Who knows? But it would have helped that we could have at least gotten that conclusion to GX. Same with Zatch Bell. Zatch Bell, unfortunately with Zatch Bell, it was kind of a similar, maybe not a similar situation to what GX went through, because, Zatch Bell kind of was canceled due to the fact that, primarily Toonami was going under. Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, really, the whole issue with its Season 4 getting dubbed wasn't really the demise of Toonami. Like, GX getting an English dub wasn't because of the death of Toonami. Like, that's the thing. Zatch Bell's not getting English dub was due to the death of Toonami. But Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX thing is, it would have still been dubbed regardless of Toonami getting canceled. So there's the difference. The only reason why it didn't get dubbed was because 4Kids decided to only do 5Ds. So it had nothing to do with the death of Toonami or the downfall of Toonami. As a matter of fact, the first two seasons were on Magoozies. Only the third season of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX aired on Toonami, because Magoozies had disbanded by that point. But the reason why I buy GX and sell, Zatch Bell is mainly because of that story. I really wanted to see that conclusion. Stuff with even more with Alexis Rose, as I made a video about that a while back about my Yu-Gi-Oh! GX rant. And then of course the ending, the ending with Yugi Moto versus Jaden Yugi, which we don't know who won that duel. They don't really give it, they don't really actually show you on screen who won that duel. But they kind of give an indication that Yugi Moto won the duel, which to me, as a fan of Yu-Gi-Oh!, I think that was a stupid decision. Yugi was he's always this guy who's supposed to win, and he's the king of games and stuff like that. But I felt if you're going to do a real conclusion to GX, Jaden should have won. It should have been the whole classic passing of the torch. Because you got to remember, when Yu-Gi-Oh! GX started, Jaden was given the Wing Karibo by Yugi. So he was giving him this, he was, kind of, stretching him along to being it. And even the first episode was named The Next King of Games. It was titled The Next King of Games, implying that Jaden was going to be the next King of Games. So why they kind of try to imply that Yugi won the duel, to me, is kind of ridiculous, because it should have been the passing of the torch, and Jaden should have won. That it would have made more sense. It would have made more sense for Yugi to, or for not Yugi, for Jaden to have won that duel. So those are kind of little things, kind of really annoyed me about, from what I've heard, because I never actually watched it, but as some people have told me. But to me, I think that that's what they should have went with, if they're going to do that. In Zatch Bell, I mean, third season, the conclusion was, kind of the conclusion. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, people can correct me on this, but I don't think even the anime finished the rest of where the manga was going on. So, I mean, that's one of the concerns as well, too. But yeah, I would definitely buy on Yu-Gi-Oh! But again, the main reason for buying Yu-Gi-Oh! GX is because, one, it wasn't the first ones that, I realized wasn't getting a dub, and I was hoping that it would. Because I was like, what? I was salty. Okay, yeah, I was salty about Yu-Gi-Oh! GX not getting a dub, a season 4 dub, and still am. But the thing is, another thing is, it should have been dubbed, because it wasn't not dubbed because of a network pulling away. If 4Kids had forced upon the project, it would have been still English dubbed regardless. But 4Kids decided to pull away. So this wasn't a network decision, really. Where Zatch Bell, its decision was more influenced by a network, that was, trying to get away from anime, essentially, at that time. So, I mean, that's kind of where the difference here is between Yu-Gi-Oh! GX and Zatch Bell. Is Zatch Bell was kind of forced to kind of not be dubbed because Toonami was on the downslide, and it was, basically screwed at that point to no repair. Where GX, regardless of Toonami canceling or being canceled, it could have still been English dubbed. It could have aired on Cartoon Network, or they could have just decided to air it on Saturday morning cartoons and move it to Saturday morning cartoons. But then again, season 4 was more dark, so maybe they wouldn't want to do that, so maybe it would have continued on Cartoon Network. But if they had enough money for it, they would have dubbed it. Might have been edits to it, but it would have been dubbed. And that's really, to me, that all that matters is that we would have gotten the dub. I don't believe in the theory that Yu-Gi-Oh! GX didn't get dubbed, or season 4 didn't get dubbed because it was too dark or something, because a lot of people came up with that theory. That's not why I think 4Kids didn't dub it at all, because if that was the case, they would have stopped dubbing Yu-Gi-Oh! To begin with, because I mean, look what they dubbed with Merrick, for God's sakes. I mean, does anyone remember Merrick's like beady little eyes when he had the lungs coming out of his eyes, when he was the Dark Merrick? Like, does anyone not remember that shit? Like, that shit creeped me out. That was like holy shit, like, this guy is like evil to the whole court. Yeah, Merrick was like evil Merrick was like the worst of the worst. Like that was the worst, like, villain, like, not worst villain, I guess the evilest villain of the Yu-Gi-Oh series. Still to this day, I think he stands out more than any of these villains that are in Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, I'm talking about like every villain that's come out, whether it be GX, Zexel, or Yexel as I like to call it, 5Ds, and even with this new anime Arc V or Arc 5, like, I still say to this day that like evil Merrick was like the most creepiest like villain out there, because he just had like this weird shit going with him. There was just something weird about him that just didn't make sense. So yeah, both of these, like I said, both of these animes were very great, very good, and it's very unfortunate that neither one of them got a dub. But if I had to pick between one of them that I would have wanted to get dubbed, or have the conclusion to an English dub, it would have been I would have been buying on Yu-Gi-Oh! GX and selling on Zatch Bell. But again, this is really a subjective, debate, essentially. But that's my opinion and take on this. Let me know what you guys think. Comment, rate. Also, if there's any other requests. Like I said, I'm currently looking at the ones that are already out there to see which one I want to do for the next request, buy or sell, as well as maybe new ones that will be comment down below in this video. If you like this video and my other videos, please subscribe. And I think that's about it. Like I said, request them, and also let me know what you guys think about this issue. Which one would you have rather? Which one would you have bought on to get a conclusion for an English dub? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Do you agree? Do you disagree? And that's about it. I am the SS Ultimate Goku, guys, and I'm out of here. Peace.